All right, guys, welcome to another lesson. This is lesson number 10 in this our true SMC trading course. All right, so we've done market structure, that is basic market structure, but today we are going to look at the advanced market structure. Okay, so we are going to start with advanced market structure. It's going to be in twofold. Okay, so first of all, we will look at the market structure in terms of candlesticks. All right, so we are going to use candlesticks to um, identify impulse and correction in the market. So what happens is that the colors of the candle doesn't matter here, but we are going to just be using some information to know whether we have a true pullback or if the pullback that is occurring is invalid. All right, so we will use structural mapping to identify something we call inducement in the market. But then the second aspect of this advanced market structure will be after this one, but not today. That will be a different lesson. So what is going to happen is that in that particular one, we'll be using the candlesticks to give us an idea of inducement, all right, which we are going to use to confirm certain things in the structural formation of the market. All right, so identifying valid pullbacks and invalid pullbacks using candlestick is very key for you as an SMC trader. So as you can see here, I have these diagrams over here, 5 different diagrams. So I'm going to explain each and every one of them, and I'll let you know which ones are valid pullbacks or contain valid pullbacks and which ones don't contain valid pullbacks. So if this is your first time here on Accurate Pips, then do well to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to turn on the bell notification icon. And also, don't forget, Deriv is the sponsor of this particular free training sessions that I'm bringing to you. I'll leave a link to Deriv broker in the description of this particular video. Do well to sign up with their link and trade with zero spread on currencies, and also trade Deriv pairs like crash and boom, volatility 100, volatility 75, and so on and so forth. All right. Also, if you have not joined our WhatsApp page and our Telegram channel and group, I'll leave links in the description of this video. Do well to join each and every one of the community and stay tuned to whatsoever that we are going to be doing. Those of you who are not watching the lessons, do well to watch them. Especially this lesson is very important. This particular lesson, if you don't understand it, whatsoever we are going to be discussing as we move on, you are not going to understand them. So do well to watch this video over and over again so that you can be what you can be informed on what we are going to do. So today, in this particular lesson, recorded lesson, I'm going to just explain these ones, and then when we meet on Thursday during the live session, then we are going to look at it on the chat. So if you don't watch this video and you come to class, you are not going to understand whatsoever I'm going to teach. So without too much talking now, let's get into the lesson, and let's start with the first column over here. All right, so over here we can see this is bullish, and then the next candle open and then it moves up. So this is impulse because this top here has been taken and market moves up, but then the low has not been taken of this. Then after this guy move up, we see this red candle forming, but look at what is happening. The low of this P candle, okay, has been protected. Why? The red candle couldn't take out the low of the P candle. So the R candle couldn't take out the low of the P candle and the high of the P candle. Now, if it were to at least take out the high of this P candle, then we'll be expecting O candle, okay, the candle O here, to take out the low of the red, and then we would have qualified it as a valid pullback. So the pullback that has occurred over here is an invalid pullback. Why? Because this is the main last candle that created this high point here, and these candles over here, none of them was able to take out the low of that particular candle. That is the liquidity that that candle provided was not taken out by candle E nor candle odd O. All right, then we see candle F spring up, broke the high over here, and then closed above that. Okay, but because these guys are still within the shadow of the P candle, both R O are still within the shadow of the P candle, we will not regard this as a valid pullback. We will regard this as an invalid pullback. So for a pullback to be valid, for instance, if F candle was to have its wick, okay, this one you don't need even the body, you just need the wick to just swipe below this guy. Even if we have something like this, this would have become a valid pullback, but then we don't have that, so it is an invalid pullback. Okay, or if we were to have, let's say, the tops here being equal, or maybe just swipe a little bit, and we have this O candle taking out the low of this guy, then we can now say that uh, this is what? This is a valid pullback, but none of this has occurred. All right, none of this occurred, so this is an invalid um, pullback. All right, so let's go on to the next one. So the next one here is a valid pullback. Why do we call this a valid pullback? So as you can see here, this first momentum, this impulse candle, next impulse candle, because it didn't come to take the low of this guy, so it continues with the impulsive movement. All right, then this guy, A candle, had its low taken by the wick of the P candle. All right, once that happened, we know that this pullback is valid because the liquidity left by the A candle at the tip there has been taken out by the P candle. Then after that, we see market spring up to continue with the odd, with the momentum. So this guy is giving us this vibe. So we see this guy moving this way, and then this way, and continuing with the leg. All right, but we can consider the first one here. This one we can consider it as movement like this. We can, no, this is very invalid. The pullback occurring on this guy is very invalid here. All right, so to get a valid movement, the market must take this. Sorry, this is in a bullish trend. I'm talking in terms of bullish trend. We'll come back, we'll come to the bearish trend. Okay, so this in terms of bullish trend. All right, so this thing here is telling us that the market has taken out the low of A candle, hence we have a valid pullback before market continues. All right, okay, now if we come to the next one also, it is accurate. So if you remember here, I was saying if this guy has an equal top and this O candle was to take out the low of the R candle, we would have that particular move pullback being a valid pullback. But now it didn't happen. But when you come to this guy here, you see that A candle is the main movement, but then the high point of the P candle is equal with that of the A candle. And since they are equal, then it means that since the O candle here was able to take out the low of the P candle, then the pullback is valid. Remember, I told you that the candle color doesn't matter. All right, the candle color doesn't matter. Why? Because we are looking at liquidity in this case. All right. If you remember, I taught you about how the candlesticks are internally formed. The probability that the internal movement here is more bearish than the color we are seeing is high. All right, so don't forget that also at the back of your mind. That's why mostly the color doesn't matter. Okay, all we are looking for is the low of the previous candle taken out before the impulsive move continued. If it happened, then our pullback is valid even if it is a one candle or more candle. All right, so here P candle has, the low has been taken out, that liquidity has been taken out. So despite this guy not taking out the low of A, because it has an equal high with A, just P being taken out by O has made that pullback to be qualified. So that means we will have this kind of impulsive move, correction, and the next impulsive phase. All right, and the next impulsive phase. All right, so that is it for the example what? Example 3. Now let's look at the next example. This is also invalid. All right. So here you can see we have the first impulsive candle, the high taken out. We continue the impulse because we didn't take out the low of the previous candle. Now P is the main candle, but then we realize R didn't form equal high, or maybe even take the high before pushing down, and couldn't take the low, which would have confirmed, would be the main thing to confirm the pullback, was also not taken out. Then O also formed and still couldn't take out these guys. So now one thing I have to explain here is these guys are called internal movements of P. So they are internal movements within what? Within the candlestick P, and candlestick F neither took out this guy as well before continuing with the impulsive move, and that makes this invalid. All right, so one thing you need to understand is that when we are in a bullish market, the market takes the low of the previous candle to confirm a valid pullback. Okay, since we are in a bullish market, you must always be looking out for candles that are taking the low of the previous candle to confirm a bullish to confirm a valid pullback. Once that doesn't happen, then the pullback is not valid. And this is so important because we are going to use it to do confirmation of highs and lows in the market when we move into the next topic. All right, so this is not a valid pullback. Now let's look at the last one before we go to the bearish example. So here you can see we had here like this, we have something like this. This is what we have here. Okay, this pullback, then we have the next high, pullback, and then next impulsive move. All right, now let me explain. As I said before, okay, the color doesn't matter. Color of the candle doesn't matter. This is the previous candle, wasn't taken, the low was not taken out by P, so it means the impulsive momentum continued. And then what do we see? This guy open and then move, came back, took the low of this guy as well as taking the high of that guy. Okay, so because the low of this guy was taken, this is a valid pullback before the next impulsive movement. And then also this O candle's low was taken out by what? The candle F, making it also another valid pullback. This was why we had this movement forming on this chart. All right, so guys, that is for the bullish. Once again, let me take it. When we are bullish, market must take the low of the previous candle to confirm a valid pullback. With that said, let's look at the reverse, that is the bearish market. Okay, let's look at it in terms of bearish or bearish market. All right, okay, good. Now, one thing you have to note here is, since we said when we are bullish, market must take the low of the previous candle to confirm a valid pullback. Then when we are bearish, it means that market must take the previous candle's high to confirm a valid pullback in a downtrend. So here you can see market was moving down, down. Don't worry about the candle color. Down, down, down. So here, this is the high of the candle, then the low. But we realize this candle couldn't take the high of this candle, and the next one couldn't take the high of it. So the same thing applies to this, just as we saw in the bullish movement, is the same thing applying to this also. It didn't take out the low of this before the impulsive movement continued. Sorry, the high of this before the impulsive movement continued. So this is not a valid pullback. This cannot be considered as a valid pullback. When we look at the second one, we have downward movement, impulse, continued the impulse. This is the high. The next candle took out the high, and then now we continue the next impulsive move. Because this candle took out the high, the P candle took out the high of the A candle, this make this movement, corrective movement or pullback movement, a valid pullback. All right, now if we come to the next one too, impulse, continuous impulse, then we have equal low for A and P. Then C was able to take out the high of what? Of P, which make this pullback a valid pullback. And then we continue with our impulsive move to the down. But when we come to this side, okay, I've explained most of the details already in the bullish explanation. So here I'm just showing you that you need to take out the highs in this movement in order to confirm the pullbacks, all right, for the bearish trend. Now, if you take this movement, you can see impulse, impulse. Now, this is the main candle, but these two are just internal candle. Why? Because this guy wasn't able to what? Take out the high of this, and neither was it having an equal low with this. If it has an equal low with this, and O was to take its low out, then we could have said that is a valid pullback. Okay, but in this case, it is not a valid pullback, and therefore we see it as an invalid pullback. All right, so you will not mark this as a high and low when you are marking it on your live chart. So on Thursday when we meet, we'll be looking at how to do this on your chart. It's very simple, guys. Very, very simple. Once you are able to master this, you'll be able to what? Identify your areas to what? To properly trade from very well in the market. And the last one, impulse, impulse. Then the high of this impulsive candle was taken out. Then we created the low. Then we continue with the impulse. Then the high of the next candle, previous candle, was taken out by this F candle, and that gave us another valid what? Correction or pullback before we continue with the what? With the impulse. So we have something like this. We have something like this. Pause, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. See, something like this. All right. So guys, this is how you identify valid pullbacks using candlestick market structure, using candlestick market structure. So remember, in determining the pullback in using the candlesticks, it doesn't matter the color of the candlestick. All we are looking for in a downtrend is you should take the highs, the high of the previous candle. All we are looking out for in a bullish movement is that you should take out the previous low, the low of the previous candle. Okay, all right. So um that is it for now. Remember, if you are not on our pages, do well to join the page, and don't forget to watch this lesson before you come to the next class, because if you don't watch this lesson, you won't understand anything in the next class. I love you guys. I will see you in the next lesson. Have a nice evening.